Hey there, Ride the Car Guy here, and today let's give the 8-ball all new steering. Now as you can see, we're in the middle of quite a big project on the 8-ball, but when I first bought this and brought it up from Alabama, I realized that the steering was leaking, and kind of stupidly, I didn't really track down the leak when it was actively leaking. I just took everything out and then I power washed the whole engine bay. Unfortunately, that means that I can't really pinpoint the leak. It could have been from the piping on the reservoir all the way down, or it could have been in the rack. So what I did is I just bought everything. I bought the new rack, I bought both inners, both outers, and the piping. Oh, as well as the tubes that come down and return to the reservoir. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna swap all of that out. And I know I have a ton of access up top, but I think what I'm gonna do for you is try to pretend that the engine is in here. Not only is that gonna allow you to see what's going on pretty easily because, again, the engine isn't there, but it's also gonna show you the actual process as if the engine was in there. So it actually includes removing our differential because in the manual it says to do that. Basically, I think that would be pretty much the only way to get it out otherwise. Let's get to it. Now you wanna start by making sure that your steering wheel is in the straightforward position, right? Because we're gonna be removing the linkage, and it's pretty important that everything is in its correct spot. And of course, I just locked the steering and I don't have the key, so I'll be right back. All right, I got it. There we go. And right about there. In fact, this might be a good opportunity to carefully realign our steering wheel because rotors are nice and straight forward and the steering wheel is like that. Down here, let's start pulling everything off. Here we have our tie rod end. And luckily we don't have to be crazy careful about this because we're replacing all of it, right? So we're just gonna pull this pin back, straighten it as much as we can, yank it out, giving me all kinds of trouble, probably just old and cranky. Wow, step one and it's already this annoying, huh? There we go. Okay, what a pain that was. If I recall, these are 17s. I'm way wrong. These are 22s. I'm just gonna pull them off with an impact. Makes it a lot easier for me. See how loud this can be. All right, and for this one, I'm just gonna hammer it out. There you go. So do the same on the other side. While everything is still in place, pull this axle nut off. Gotta look, oh, cotter pin just broke. Awesome. Suppose that's great for right now, not great for later. There we go. And now that is a giant nut. Let's hope I have something big enough for it. And I do, it's a 32. Probably because I've done this before, now that I think about it. So slap our impact on there, pull that puppy off. There it goes. Awesome, that's already free floating. I like that. All right, upper ball joint now, and then we can pull the axle out. All right, yet another pin. There we go. Also a 22. If I remember, I need a breaker bar for this one. All right, I'm gonna grab a little piece of wood, do it like that or something. There you go. Basically, I'm just trying to stop it from turning, and that way I can hit this nut and not be like maxing out my CV or smashing this into something, whatever. Just be careful of your speed sensor cable. Definitely don't want to mess with that. There we go. Easy. All right, so now you're gonna want to support this entire thing on a jack. Technically, you should do it before doing this, but I mean, this is gonna hold, right? It's not gonna come out right now, most likely. But we gotta grab a jack, and then we can make sure it's supported, and then once it's supported, we can pop this off. All right, we got our jack here. We're just gonna put it on the lower ball joint. That way we're not putting a bunch of pressure on the lower control arm bushings. First, I'm gonna give it a little love tap here on the side. Sometimes they will release if you do that. All right, I bought a tool for this. Let's see if I can make it work. Bought this morning, but it looks too big. Yeah, not a chance. Money well spent. Surprise, I bought two, but I bet you this won't work either. Yeah, it's too small. I know these aren't meant for big ball joints, but it doesn't even fit on the tie rod one either. All right, well, I was really hoping to avoid hurting this thing because I'd like to reuse it because not too long from now, we're gonna be getting a new suspension for this. And in the meantime, I don't wanna deal with buying new parts for it. But my hand has been forced, so we're going pickle fork. Okay, that's just bent. Pickle fork number 2. Yeah, come on, baby. There. Stupid little. So that's off. And the boot is all jacked up now. Yep, big surprise. And now, there we go. This guy is free. All right, with that available, or that opened up, I should say, if you pull this away, you should be able to push. There you go. All right, remember what I just said about this cables? Be very careful with these. Pulling it out to get more slack. There we go. Maybe turn it a little bit, pull it down. Threads aren't coming out. Come on, let's go. I'm beginning to think that we should pull it out of the other side first. All right, I'm gonna grab a little pry bar, try to pry this out. There it goes. Awesome. So now if we compress this as much as we can, see if that'll come out. No. Oh my God. All right, this design is absolutely wretched. Wow, wow, wow. I genuinely despise this. Why could I not just design it like the Titan? Okay, here's a Ryan is really stupid moment. I never thought to turn it this way instead of turning it that way. So if you're on the driver's side, turn it to the right and it comes out. Wow, what a dumb. And now, the whole thing should come out. There. Sweet Jesus, that's horrible. All right, I'm gonna grab this upper ball joint, raise this back up, just put it back in place for a little bit instead of tying it up. There. All right, go do that on the other side. All right, so while I have the chance, I'm going to drop the differential fluid. I'm doing that because, because when we actually drop the diff, we're just gonna tilt it to one side, I just know, and then those open ends will just pour out the fluid. So that is if I can find the drain plug. Oh, right here, I found it on the side. And, oh, it's probably one of those H10s. I went ahead and grabbed 8 and 10, and yeah, it is 10, so. There we go, let's drop that. Incredibly dirty. Let's go see how bad this drain plug is. Now the fluid didn't look terrible, but I assure you that the drain plug magnet is not that long. Let's find out. Wow. Now the fluid didn't look that bad, but there was a lot of crud on there, huh? All right, now that this is wiped down, we just have to put it back in, and then we can take this thing out. All righty, we got our transmission jack. We're gonna slide that underneath. Loving all the space under here. I'm just gonna throw that under the sort of pumpkin area, if you will. And now we just take out our 3 19mm bolts, 2 up front and 1 back here. I'm gonna tackle the one right next to the jack first. Next up, I'm gonna grab the one in the rear here, which I think has a welded nut. Let's take a look. Yep, there we go. Pull that out. And then our last one up front. I'm going to get my impact gun on the jack and put on the lowest setting, and then see if I can pull this out. Yep, there we go. And then just lower it. Woo, oh, God, I did it again. I forgot the diff breather. The diff breather is like holding this entire thing up. So what I'll do is I'll disconnect it from the car. There. Lower it down more. We actually didn't drop it. Look at us go. And now I'm gonna roll it out, pull that down. I'll probably just sort of gently set it down like that, roll it off. There we go. Clean up all your tools, and then we could start working on the rack. We wanna start by taking out the linkage. So we have that physical connection, and then we have 2 sort of pipes, right? We have this one here that needs to come out, and this one as well. This goes to the cooler, and this goes back over to the pump. So for starters, this is a 12mm, and I think I actually already took this off, right? From actually removing the engine. Yeah, so if I loosen that, there we go. That nice and loose. And then I should be able to lift that off. Looks like this screw might have to come all the way out. I'm trying to remember. See if that does it. Oh yeah, now I have a line wrench, and that is a 14mm, and I'm going to feed it up here on this. So let's see if I can get that up there. Oh, okay. Is that right? I think I got it. There we go. And then, yeah, awesome, okay. I'm sure I would have hit the engine by now right here. For this, you're gonna have to be prepared. You may wanna take one of these 2 off if you're doing this with everything still intact, because you need to drain the fluid, right? All right, is it spinning on its own? It is. Okay, my hand is cramping like crazy. There we go. Awesome, so that's out. And this one needs to come out. So I'm gonna grab some needle nose pliers and get it from down here. I have a 90 degree, and what I'm hoping is I can do something like this. No, maybe like that. How about right here? Hopefully, maybe you'll have that space. Yeah, okay. Let's hope that is the case. There's that. And then pull it off here. Maybe twist it as well if it needs it. There. All right, with all this out, we should be free to pull out the whole rack. And that looks like it's going to be 3 large bolts, these 3 up here. And on the rear, let's see what size those are. I think I had it. 22s. Those are 22s. So, all right, this is gonna be one of those things where we're gonna need the impact, or excuse me, the breaker bar. I'm not gonna sit there and just hammer it all day. You know what, let's do the old foot method. I don't wanna fool around with this. Now we should be able to do this. Okay, it's cracking. Wow, that is on there. I'm gonna buzz the 4 swing arm supports out and then swing it down, and we're gonna try for these. Oh, aggressively swung down. Means my sway bar links probably suck. We're gonna try it again. Now they're even bigger on this side. So that was a 22. Let's try a 24. All right, they are 24. So let's try this. Okay, dear God. These are absolutely insane. All right, it's rare, but I'm gonna pull out the old Chicago Electric impact. And I do that because I don't care if I kill it. And so I'm just gonna literally grab it and just sit on this bolt for a minute or 2 and see if I can get it to go. Where's my hearing protection? I'm gonna get a, whatever this is, on the other side, so it holds it in place, and then go. Wow, that was absolutely insane. So I'm trying to think this is way too big. You wouldn't be able to get that in there with the bumper on. Maybe on the back, well, I don't think on the back side either. So you may be stuck using this breaker bar to get this out. Let's grab the other side. Okay, for some reason that one flew off. So I'm gonna hold it here. So weird. See if the third one's a massive or not. Crazy town. All right, well, there it is. Now, let's crawl underneath and pull it out. So theoretically, we have this post here, so we probably want to try to slide it this way until this is clear, and then pull it all out. Let's try. All right, pouring steering fluid. Maybe turn it that way. Yep. Come on. This thing's in the way. There we go. Come on. There we go. And it's out. It's just that easy. All right, here's kind of the worst part of all of this. Looks like possibly this connection was the one that was leaking. So that makes me want to die a little, because if that was it, this would have been a heck of a lot easier fix. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this as well. It's just 3, it looks like 10mm bolts. You would have to slide underneath if you wanted these out and come from this side, just so you know. Fluid everywhere. This will be a good opportunity for me to clean all of this up. So I'm gonna do that and then we'll meet back up. We have the new one down underneath, and I set the bolts just down in front here so I can just easily grab them with it all in place. And there's this little rubber gasket dealie that sat against the steering rack and basically was squished between the rack and this cross member here. That did not come with the new rack, so I'm gonna make sure to put that on there, and then we're gonna set this thing in place. Luckily, this one is completely empty and dry, right? So we don't have to worry about making a big old mess again. So I'm gonna just do basically the reverse of how I got it out, right? I'm gonna push the whole thing up into the passenger side wheel well until it fits up here and then swing it over. So, let's start by doing that. There we go. Almost dropped it on my face. Don't want that. And perfect. There it sits. Now, could I set it like this, please, please, please? Yes, okay. So I'm gonna put this in, just snaps onto these. Now I should be able to set it in place. I'm just gonna get the bolts most of the way in on 2 of the 3, one on each side, of course. There we go. And then I'm just gonna lift it in place and slide those in. Oh, this one is, wait, what? They make you reuse the band? Okay, well, I just realized that there's no place to screw it in over here because it seems like they want you to take the mount off of the original. That's really stupid. All right, that is a 19. And you just gotta pull it off here and move it over. I'm glad that's in good shape because it would be awfully unfortunate if this was broken. All right, I'm gonna very loosely install this because I wanna be able to sort of move it around. Slap it in right there. I think that's right. And then looks like we want this right here. All right, there appears to be a ridge in this. There we go. The gasket is a little keyed here. It has a little hump in it that it needs to kind of sit in. So I'm going to grab that. There we go. Slide that in place and then grab my bolt. I mean, theoretically, you would do this, you know, before bringing it under the vehicle, but I like to make things more difficult for myself. I'm going to lift this up into place and get a couple bolts in here. There is one. All right, at least it's being held up. Probably get our third one in as well. There we go. All right, just when I thought this job couldn't get any worse, I just recorded an entire section of the video without audio. So all I did was put the nuts on and I tightened them down to spec. They are 140 foot-pounds on all three. Nothing terribly special there. Just get those tightened down. We're gonna get this connection put back in and then actually need to go get piping at the store because this hose here is one that I forgot to buy. So we would slide this off here. There we go. Slide this bed lat on. Awesome. And now go get our needle nose and cinch that down. All right, for our last bit here, we need to get our piping and we need to put it into that little hole here. And for this, if you're replacing this, make sure you have the O-ring on this. There's an O-ring that sits at the very tip of it. So you just want to be careful about that. But if we put that in there, there we go. Spin it in. See if I can get it to, there we go. There, perfect. And then we just grab our line wrench again. Excellent. Now, unfortunately, this is where I have to leave you for this video. Now, I'm gonna leave the rest disconnected because tomorrow morning, this engine goes in and it needs to be disconnected to do that. There's also a video, if you look at the upper right-hand corner of the screen, there is a video that I did years ago on the tie rods for the Xterra, so installing the outer tie rods when you're ready to do that. And I also have a video installing the upper ball joints again, so I'll put that on the screen as well. That's it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please go ahead and scroll down, click that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you in the next one.